There's a moment in life when everything starts to shift, when you stop waiting for luck, stop blaming your circumstances, and realize that the only true investment that multiplies endlessly is the one you make in yourself. Because when you grow, your world grows. When you elevate your mindset, your life begins to take a completely different direction. This is the power behind the truth. When you invest in yourself, everything changes. Every major change in your life begins the moment you decide to invest in yourself. Not when the economy improves, not when people finally support you, not when everything aligns perfectly, but when you make the conscious decision to grow beyond who you've been. The truth is, nothing around you can change until something within you does. You are the foundation on which everything else in your life is built. Your success, your relationships, your happiness, your confidence, they all rise and fall with how much you've poured into your own growth. When you invest in yourself, you are declaring to the universe that you are worthy of more. You are telling yourself that you are done settling for mediocrity, done accepting less than your potential, and ready to step into a higher version of who you are. That shift in energy, that change in internal belief, is where transformation truly begins. Because your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. If you're frustrated with your results, it's not life punishing you, it's life trying to nudge you to level up. Growth starts from the inside out. Think about this. Everything you want in life demands a better version of you. You can't expect to attract abundance with a scarcity mindset. You can't expect to have powerful relationships if you're carrying the pain of your past. You can't expect to build a dream career if your habits are rooted in fear and procrastination. To change the results, you have to change the root. And that means feeding your mind, your spirit, and your body with things that empower you instead of drain you. Investing in yourself isn't just about money. It's about energy, focus, and time. It's reading books that elevate your thinking when everyone else is lost in distractions. It's listening to podcasts, attending workshops, or finding mentors who help you see possibilities you never imagined. It's journaling to understand your thoughts, exercising to build your strength, meditating to calm your mind, and constantly choosing growth over comfort. Most people wait for permission to improve. Those who truly transform take responsibility and start with what they have, where they are. And here's the beautiful part. When you start investing in yourself, the world begins to respond differently to you. People notice your energy shift. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to find you. You become magnetic because you're aligned with your purpose. It's not luck, it's alignment. The moment you commit to becoming more, everything around you starts rearranging to match your new level of belief. But the journey isn't easy. Investing in yourself often feels lonely at first. You might have to distance yourself from people who don't understand your vision. You might feel misunderstood, even doubted. Growth can be uncomfortable because it challenges everything familiar. You'll face moments when quitting seems easier, when your mind tells you it's not worth it. But that's the test to see how much you truly value your potential. If you can push through that resistance, you'll begin to experience something powerful: self-trust. The unshakable belief that you can depend on yourself no matter what life throws your way. Every skill you learn, every book you read, every new habit you build compounds over time. You may not notice it at first, but small daily investments create massive long-term results. One day you'll wake up and realize you become someone you used to admire. You'll handle challenges with confidence, speak with clarity, and make decisions that align with your values. You'll see that all the effort, all the time, all the sacrifices were never about the reward. It was about who you became in the process. The truth is, nobody can take away the growth you earn. Money can be lost. People can leave, circumstances can change, but the person you build through self-investment is permanent. You carry that strength, that knowledge, that mindset wherever you go. It becomes part of your identity. And once you've built yourself, once you've raised your standards, there's no going back to the version of you that settled for less. When you choose to invest in yourself, you set in motion a ripple effect that touches every part of your life. Your work improves because you show up with confidence. Your relationships deepen because you bring authenticity. Your health strengthens because you honor your body. Your mindset sharpens because you protect your peace. You begin to attract opportunities that match the energy you've cultivated. The world doesn't change, you do. And because you do, the world around you transforms in ways you never thought possible. That's the real secret. Your future doesn't depend on luck or circumstance. It depends on how deeply you're willing to bet on yourself. The moment you decide to make yourself the greatest investment you'll ever make, everything begins to change. Because when you grow internally, your reality has no choice but to expand with you. True growth demands a price. It asks for your comfort, your old patterns, your excuses, and sometimes even the people you once thought you needed. When you choose to invest in yourself, you're not just saying yes to a better life. You're saying yes to discipline, sacrifice, and consistency. These are the unseen forces that separate those who talk about transformation from those who live it. The truth is, every person who's achieved something remarkable didn't get there because it was easy. They got there because they refused to settle for average effort. Discipline is not about restriction. It's about freedom. It's the ability to make decisions that serve your long-term growth instead of giving in to short-term comfort. Most people are trapped not by lack of talent, but by lack of consistency. They start strong but fade when the motivation disappears. But real change begins when you show up even on the days you don't feel like it. When you wake up early to learn, when you push through fatigue to train, when you choose focus over distraction, that's when transformation starts to take root. Sacrifice is the gateway to evolution. You cannot become who you're meant to be while clinging to who you were. The habits that kept you comfortable will never take you to greatness. It might mean saying no to nights out when others are celebrating, turning off the noise of social media to focus on your vision, or letting go of people who drain your energy instead of fueling it. Sacrifice feels painful in the moment, but it's actually the process of making room for the next version of yourself. You're shedding what no longer serves you to step into something greater. And yes, there will be moments when this journey feels isolating. Growth often happens in silence. When you're grinding behind the scenes while others are showing off results, it can feel discouraging. But those quiet moments are where your future is built. That's where you develop resilience, self-belief, and unshakable confidence. You're planting seeds that the world can't see yet. It takes patience and faith to stay consistent when results are invisible. But that's the test every champion must face. The difference between people who talk about success and those who live it lies in one simple truth. They kept going. They didn't wait for the perfect time or perfect conditions. They didn't need constant validation. They built momentum by doing the work day after day, long after the excitement faded. Every act of discipline reinforces your identity. Every repetition, every early morning, every small step tells your mind, I'm committed. Over time, this becomes who you are. Someone who follows through, no matter how hard it gets. Consistency isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. There will be days when you fall short, when you miss the mark, when life throws you off track. But the key is to get back up faster each time. The more consistent you become, the more your mind adapts to effort as normal, not exceptional. Eventually, what once felt impossible becomes part of your routine. The gym becomes natural, reading becomes enjoyable, waking up early feels right. The small disciplines compound until they form a lifestyle that pulls you closer to your goals every single day. You can't expect extraordinary results while living an ordinary routine. To create something meaningful, you must outwork your limitations and outlast your excuses. Success doesn't respond to wishful thinking, it responds to action. It respects effort, it rewards persistence. You can't cheat growth. You can't fake consistency. It's earned one disciplined decision at a time. And here's the magic. As you begin to live with discipline, your confidence grows. You start to trust yourself more because you've proven that you can keep your word. That self-trust becomes unstoppable momentum. Suddenly, you don't wait for motivation, you create it. You don't hope for change, you build it. You stop negotiating with your old habits and start demanding more from yourself. That's where everything begins to shift. Discipline and sacrifice aren't punishment. They are proof that you believe in your future more than your comfort. You're not losing anything by committing to growth. You're gaining everything that truly matters: freedom, clarity, purpose, and strength. When you choose to stay consistent, even when no one is watching, you're shaping a version of yourself that no obstacle can break. And when that version of you finally meets the world won't recognize you because you've transformed from the inside out. So remember this: real investment isn't glamorous. It's not made in front of an audience. It's made in quiet decisions, lonely nights, and repeated actions that no one claps for. But one day, those unseen efforts will erupt into visible success. The world will see the results, but only you will know the price you paid in discipline and sacrifice. And when that moment comes, you'll realize that every hard choice, every bit of struggle, every ounce of consistency was worth it. because it built the unshakable foundation that everything else now stands on. Your entire future expands or contracts based on how much you believe you deserve. The level of self-worth you carry sets the boundaries for every experience you attract. When you invest in yourself, you naturally raise that standard. You begin to see yourself as capable, deserving, and valuable. And that belief changes everything. The world doesn't suddenly become easier. You simply become stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the kind of life you were meant to live. When your sense of worth grows, opportunities that once seemed unreachable start to appear within your grasp. You begin to move differently, speak differently, and act from a place of conviction rather than fear. The truth is, you can't outperform your self-image. You might dream of success, but if deep down you don't believe you deserve it, you'll find ways to sabotage it. That's why the most powerful transformation isn't external, it's internal. Every bit of time you spend learning, growing, and developing your mindset rewires how you see yourself. You start to realize that the limits you thought existed were never real. They were stories created by fear, comparison, or past failures. When you raise your self-worth, you stop asking for permission to succeed. You stop begging for validation. You stop shrinking to fit into places that no longer align with your vision. Investing in yourself creates an identity shift. You go from thinking, "I hope this works out," to saying, "I'll make this work." You stop operating from doubt and begin to operate from certainty. This is what people feel when they describe someone as magnetic or confident. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's knowing who you are, what you bring, and what you deserve. That level of belief makes you unstoppable because your actions start to reflect your vision instead of your fears. When you see yourself as valuable, you stop wasting energy on things and people that don't grow you. You begin to make choices that protect your peace and fuel your purpose. Every part of your life begins to mirror that internal shift. Your relationships improve because you no longer tolerate disrespect or settle for one-sided effort. Your work flourishes because you bring a new level of energy, clarity, and creativity to it. Your health improves because you start treating your body as something sacred, not as an afterthought. You begin to attract people, experiences, and opportunities that match your new level of self-respect. It's like tuning a radio. Once you change your frequency, everything that's meant for you starts to come in clearly. But that kind of transformation doesn't come from external validation. It comes from deep inner work. You have to face the parts of yourself you've ignored, the insecurities, the doubts, the fears, and decide to rise above them. You have to forgive yourself for the mistakes you made and see them not as failures, but as lessons that shaped your strength. Every time you invest in your healing, your learning, or your growth, you're expanding your capacity to receive more from life. The more you expand your mind and heart, the more abundance flows into your reality. There's a reason why confident people seem to attract success effortlessly. It's because they've already done the work internally. They've built a mindset that aligns with success. They believe they deserve the best, and life responds to that belief. You can't attract greatness while carrying unworthiness in your heart. You have to decide that you are enough, right now, and worthy of more. Not after you achieve something, but before. That decision alone shifts your energy in a way that others can feel. It's not what you do that changes your life, it's the energy you do it with. So when you choose to invest in yourself, whether that's learning a new skill, taking care of your body, or developing emotional intelligence, you're not just improving your abilities, you're upgrading your identity. You start showing up as the person who already belongs in the life you desire. The future expands to meet the level of belief you hold about yourself. And the beautiful part is, this kind of growth never stops. The more you grow, the more capable you become of handling bigger challenges and receiving greater rewards. When you truly understand your worth, you stop chasing and start attracting. You no longer operate from desperation but from intention. You no longer wait for life to hand you opportunities, you create them. That's what happens when you've done the inner work, when you've built the confidence, and when you've raised your standard for what you allow into your life. The outside world simply mirrors that internal evolution. Your self-worth is the foundation of your destiny. When you invest in yourself, you're not just improving what you can do, you're redefining who you are. And once that happens, nothing can stay the same. Your relationships, your success, your peace, your entire existence begin to align with the person you've become. Because when you believe deeply in your value, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you.